Today we're going to be learning how to subtract mixed numbers, but again we're going to start with a warm-up. So I've got three different problems here. I want you to tell me, are they true or false, using the equivalent fraction method to determine if they're true or false. You can again pause the video and then try to solve on your own before I give you the answer. So I'll give you a few minutes to do that. All right, so this first one, we're going to look here. And it's a half, and we want it to equal 4/5. Well, 1 times 4 is easy for me, so I'm going to start there. 1 times 4 is 4, so I know that part's true. But I run into problems when I have 2 times 4. That does not equal 5. So this first one is false. That is not an equivalent fraction. I'm going to move down to the next one. We have 8/12. We want it to equal 2/3. This time we have to divide, which again is backwards multiplication. So I'm going to think of it this way because it's just easier for me. 2 times what equals 8? Well, I know 2 times 4 equals 8, so I know that 8 divided by 4 would equal 2. Let's see if this is the same on the bottom. 12 divided by 4 is 3. Again, you can think of it as backwards multiplication. So 3 times 4 does equal 12. 4, 8, 12. This one is true. The last one, we have 40 over 100. And we want it to equal 20 over 50. Now this looks scary, but if you're having issues with it, you can always just cross out a 0 on each of these, and you could technically still solve it for that way. So it could be 4/10 and 2/5 instead of 40 over 100 and 20 over 50. Well, 40 divided by 2 equals 20. 100 divided by 2 does equal 50. So that's our warm-up. Give me a second to erase our boards. Hopefully you got some similar answers. All right. Next thing we're going to do is try to subtract mixed numbers. Now, just to review, a mixed number, something that looks like this: 3 and 2/3. It's got one whole number and one fraction. That's why it's a mixed number, because it has both of them. We want to subtract this from 2 and 1/3. Now we're going to do a few different methods for how we could solve this same problem. The first we're going to use is a number line. So I'm going to make a number line down here. We're going to start with 0 or 0 over 3. We call it either. And then next to 1/3. 2/3. This one could be 1 or 3/3. After that, we have 4/3, 5/3, 2 or 6 over 3, 7/3, 8/3, 3 or 9 over 3, 10/3, 11/3. So the first thing I want to do, if I'm going to use this number line, is we need to figure out what 3 and 2/3 and 2 and 1/3 would be as improper fractions. Now, to make a mixed number into an improper fraction, we need to take the denominator and multiply it by the whole number. So I'm going to take these two, 3 times 3 equals 9, and I need to add this 9 up top. We're trying to take these and make them into an improper fraction. So if I do 9 plus 2, that equals 11, I would get 11 thirds. Now still working on this first one, let me show you in pictures what I'm doing. This 3 2/3, I'm going to draw a picture. We have 3 holes, which means each of these would have all 3 pieces filled in. This one would have 2, because that's the 2/3. If I count all of these up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, that's where we get our 11 thirds. So you could either draw a picture, or you could do what I did over here by multiplying and then adding. So we know this is now 11 thirds. So I just solved that. So this is equivalent to 11 thirds. We could start right over here at 11 thirds on my number line. Let me use green. Blue is not working that well. Okay, but now we have to solve 2 1/3 for the same thing. So again, I could draw a picture, or I could multiply like I did before. Let's draw a picture this time. So this is for the 2/3. So I would need to fill all of these in. And I need one with just 1/3 filled in. If I added all of this up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you can see that this is equivalent to 7 thirds. Again, I could use the same method as before. I could do 3 times 2 equals 6. I could add the 1 right here, so 6 plus 1 equals 7. I could also get 7 thirds that way. Now that I know that this is 11 thirds minus 7 thirds, it makes it a lot easier to use the number line. So if I'm at 11 thirds, I need to subtract 7 thirds from that. So we're going to go back 7. So this is 1/3, 2/3, 3/3, 4/3, 5/3, 6/3, 7/3. My answer would be 4/3. Or if you want to write this as a mixed number, 1 1/3. I took the 3 out of this 4 by subtracting. 4 minus 3 equals 1. That's where this 4 would represent my whole, and the 1 remainder would end up being the fraction. So that's how you can use a number line to solve this problem. There are some other ways to solve this problem that's not just a number line. You could think of this as 2 separate problems. So instead of setting it up this way, I could set it up, let's do it over here, 3 2/3 minus 2 1/3. This lets me see this problem as 2/3 minus 1/3 and 3 minus 1. 2/3 minus 1/3 is 1/3. 3 minus 1 is 2. You can see that over here as well. 2/3 minus 1/3 is 1/3. Get 1 1/3, just like we did before. So those are really the two different methods that you'd want to use. On the page, there is an assignment for you to complete. If you need to review this video, you can rewind it, but those are really the two methods that I would suggest using to solve mixed numbers. Thanks, see you tomorrow.